How are we doing, guys? Welcome to qualifying in the USA. We've done really well in practice, actually. We've been looking really strong. Obviously, I'm only playing on about, I think it's 70 or 75 difficulty. Obviously, the wheel is still very new, so we're still getting used to that. So I feel like these last few races are going to be kind of interesting. They're going to be more of a gauge of how to get the difficulty right with the wheel. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. The engine is looking quite warm, so I'm going to have to be very careful with that. Hopefully we can do quite well. I'm getting more comfortable with the wheel, so I'm sure we'll start up in the difficulty. I also, before this qualifying session, I invested in 2 more parts for the chassis. I earned like 1,000. We earned like 1,000 R&D points. So we kind of went ham on the trying to save the chassis for next season. So I did a major part and a minor part. I think if we put in enough practice laps in every Grand Prix, I think there's a chance that we can save every component that's going out of fashion. So it's going to be interesting to see. I genuinely have no idea how I'm going to qualify, because practice, I was probably higher than I wanted to be in practice, but I feel like I've actually got a really good feel for the track now, because in P2, I put in about 20 laps in P2 and about 15 in P1. So I've really gone to the extremes with trying to learn this track. The fast S's here at the beginning, for sure. Very tough, but I genuinely think I'm starting to definitely get used to the wheel. I've still just got the default settings. After Japan, we had so much of a play about with the settings. I think eventually I just thought I'm going to go back to default, get used to it, see what happens. I think with the wheel, for sure, the key is going into the corners slower, because you obviously don't want to rotate the wheel too much on the turns. But I feel like we're getting better with it. There could be a good qualifying session. I'm hoping to make it into Q2. Obviously, we're now, what, 4th worst car? I think it goes Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, then us, in that order in terms of everything. Our powertrain's a little bit low, but I still feel like we've got quite good top speed. So we dropped from like the 5th fastest car to the 10th fastest car, so in terms of powertrain. But I feel like actually with our aerodynamics and not taking any hits for next season, we're already in a great position with the aero packages for next season. So that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. I don't know how we're going to do. I feel like I'm really good at this corner here, though. The AI seems to lose a bit of time through there, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm starting to get used to this track, and I'm really starting to enjoy the wheel. I've actually stretched it out a bit as well. I've managed to create a little bit of space to make it a little bit easy for us. Let's see where we qualify here. We do go P3, which is pretty good, only 0.8 seconds down. So I think we return to the garage here, save the tyres, save the engine a bit. You'll notice just below me that you'll see the red line on the engine wear, so it's not looking fantastic, but I think we should be okay. We're quite far ahead of a lot of cars here. We're going to drop down, but we'll be top 16 here. We will be top 16 quite easily, I think, from just one lap, which is good. Nick is just outside. Hopefully Nick will put in one more lap, because he's only 0.1 of a second out. And is he going to go out again? He must. Yeah, here we go. Now everyone's going out. We'll be okay. We're not going to drop the 16th. Come on, Nick. Can you put in a good lap here? Can you get into P16 maybe? I don't know if he did there. I didn't see him jump up, but never too sure. I mean, here we're P7. I feel like we're a second away from Bottas, which is quite a long way. But, he came 17th. Okay, well, that was close. The 2 Alfa Romeos are down there, the 2 Williams, and Romain Grosjean as well. So we're into Q2, and like I said, I think this is because I've put in so many practice laps. I've kind of nailed the track a bit. I think we've probably done about 45 practice laps nearly in total. I did 20 in P2 and about 14 in P1. P3 it was raining, but because the race is going to be wet at the end of the race, or the second half, I thought we have to kind of go for it and see what we can do. We will go out on these this soft, so we'll see what happens here. Again, we might even make Q1 here if we're lucky. I think it goes Q3, 2, 1, doesn't it? I can't remember. Or Q1, 2, 3, I don't know. Either way, I'm hoping to make it through to the final qualifying stage. We obviously qualified in 7th in the first session. It's going to take another very good lap, though, for us to get there. You'll see there the engine wear. The ICE is 62%, so it's not ideal in terms of engine wear. I don't know if we take a grid penalty maybe for Mexico, but I could have taken a grid penalty here, but I don't really see the point with, there's 4 races left in all. Do we just struggle through them to next season? That's what I think is best, but I don't know. I mean, I could make a commitment to change the engine. I'd just change the ICE maybe. Take maybe a 5-place penalty, I think it is. I think it's 5 places for every component. And then just sort of see what happens. I mean, you can see here I'm getting the hang of these S's quite well. I know just when to tap on the brakes and when I can sort of throttle out of it. So I feel like I'm doing quite well here on this track. And I think that's courtesy to myself putting in, like I said, I literally ran the whole of P1 and the whole of P2. So you know, that's a good over an hour of driving on the track, really. Did all the programs. I don't think I smashed them out of the park, but I definitely struggled on one. I think it was a track acclimatization I wasn't very good at. But the rest of them I did pretty well on, and I feel like we genuinely could put in a decent time here. I think we could qualify quite highly, and I just think it's because we've got some high-speed corners here, and I seem to have nailed them quite well. Obviously, the difficulty can go up still, and we'll probably look at doing that after this race, maybe. The next one's Mexico, interesting track for us. For me, it's still just all about me getting used to the wheel. So if I have the difficulty a little bit lower, and I do get a couple of really good results, I do apologise. Obviously, I'm trying to keep my team as realistic as possible. But now we are, now we're kind of mid-table, middle of the pack kind of team now. So maybe there are some tracks, especially I think the USA. I'm quite good at this track, shall we say. I'm not terrible at it. I think we're actually going to go a bit too fast here, aren't we? We are actually P1 there, which is a little bit worrying. Probably shouldn't be P1 right now. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how we get on here at the end of this. I mean, I think we're a bit too... Mind you, Hamilton's quite slow. Actually, Hamilton's very slow. Let's see if we do drop down, because ideally I don't really want to qualify P1. I feel like that probably means I've got the difficulty way too easy. We're definitely going to be top 10, so we're definitely going to be through to the final qualifying session. Looks to me as if we're actually going to be P1 there, which realistically isn't what we want. We'd rather be more down with like the racing points there, but however, like I said, I feel like we've done really well on this track, so I feel like I put in so much effort that I almost kind of deserve to do quite well. I don't know if that's the right thing or not really, but we'll see. P1's obviously a bit too much. We'll see, maybe we'll get a miraculous pole position. I don't know, if we do, I guess it'll make for a good video, but I don't really want to be in pole position. I don't want to just be like, oh whatever, I'll just let myself drop. But because like I said, I've put in so much time on track for this. Put so much time in on the track. If it comes to it though, if we do end up with pole, I'll probably up the difficulty by like 5 for the race, shall we say? That'd probably be decent enough. I don't want to go up by 10 because I feel like we might as well try and score like at least a point, right? I'm sure in the race we'll lose out to some of these cars, but I feel like race pace is harder than qualifying. I feel like qualifying is always a bit easier. I don't know why. And then I find that in the race pace, the AI seems to get a lot faster. That wasn't a great first corner from us there, was it? Also, I do have traction on full, remember, just whilst I get used to the wheel. So it's probably why I can take these S's so fast, because in reality, if I was on like medium traction, I'd probably be slipping and sliding all over the place. But then again, I'm not really throwing the car in at like full speed, you know. Kind of like feathering it round, which is quite nice. I definitely have improved on the wheel for sure, like a massive amount. The default settings seems to be the best settings so far, really. No, we'll see if we can qualify quite well. I have a terrible feeling we might be able to get P1 here, which will make for a great video and a great title, but I'm not sure I want a pole position, but we'll see what happens. Nick De Vries came, what, like 17th? I should probably be nearer to him, really. Obviously, I'm quicker than my teammate, but I shouldn't be like pole positioning it, should I, really? But if we get a pole position, so be it. I think we did a 1:33 in the first session, so, or second session, actually, I think, wasn't it? Let's see. I just feel like I'm taking the track quite nicely. My drive looks very smooth. My driving looks very smooth on this track. Having said that, though, I have spun on that corner about 3 times in total, so especially throughout practice. I was spinning quite a lot through that, so I really have started to master this track by spending the best part of an hour and a half on track just in practice. So the qualifying session probably reflects my efforts that I've put in, to be totally honest with you. And I genuinely feel like we're going to have a very good lap here. We go first. I feel like we should just leave it at that and see what happens. In a way, I don't want to be on pole because that's very unrealistic, but the time that we put in, we are second now. I feel like I should just leave that because we're not far from behind. I think we'll save the car because we need to save the engine and everything. It's a bit crazy if we go back out. So we'll let everybody else go out apart from us. We'll stay there. If we get relegated a little bit, that's fine by me. I think we're to 4th position there, which is insane. 2nd row on the grid. We're only 0.3 down. Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez are way down the list. So a 4th place in America. I think we did qualify 4th in, was it Canada? Or some was it Canada we qualified really, really well in. So that's a really, really good qualifying session there in America. Hopefully we can produce something pretty special during the race. I don't know, it's a race that it says it starts dry and then it gets wet towards the end. So I don't know how far into the race it's going to start raining, but that is going to be a massive game changer. It's going to be a relief to qualify that far up the grid. It's always a relief to see your hard work pay off. I think that's the thing, because we have put in so much hard work in practice there. All hands on deck. We're already working overtime on next year's car. We're still focusing on this year's car. No, we're working overtime on next year's car. We're getting ready for next year for sure. We're not focusing on any new upgrades to the car for this season. We're just going to kind of roll over and see what happens. I'll probably up the difficulty. I feel like maybe we should up it by at least 5, because I don't think we should be in P4. But then in the race, I feel like the AI will just run away with it anyway. We do get a bit of a beating on Alexander Albon there. We pick up 1 point there. I'm level 10, Nick is level 8, and the team is level 13 now, which is pretty solid. So we're looking quite strong as a team. Hopefully we can get some big sponsors on board soon. You've got to get to level 20 before you unlock any more. I think we should up the difficulty. Oh, we're actually only on 65. Okay, so let's go to 70 for the race and see what happens. Obviously I'm still very new to the wheel, so I'm aware that I might do quite well to start with, and then we'll just try and get a bit more difficulty included in the races as we go. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed the qualifying session in America. Do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, leave some comments down below. Should I go harder? Am I getting good on the wheel? Let me know, and I'll see you for the race very soon.